Okay. Well, Vern was a terrific guy, and I don't know if I can do this or not. I wrote something down, and hope to just talk about the positive about him. My name's Bill Hanna. I live in Tehachapi, California, and I met Vernon in Flagstaff 28 years ago. He'd be the one to correct me because he was always right on with times and dates. He could always nail it, whereas I was a generalist, I guess, and he always had an amazing mind for the specifics, the dates, the times, what we were doing, what the weather was like. It was amazing. But yeah, I had asked a gal to go with me to a George Winston concert. Well, she couldn't go, so she had to go home that weekend. So I went alone. This is at Northern Arizona University. So I just went, okay, I'm gonna go anyway. So I got in line to get a ticket, waiting there, and somebody taps me on the shoulder, goes, do you want a ticket to this? Are you waiting for a ticket? I go, yeah. Well, that was Vern. And he said, well, do you want a ticket? And I went, well, how much? And he said, well, it's free. I won these tickets at from a radio station. So the only downside is you got to sit next to me. So that's how I met Vern. And it's been, you know, a gift for 28 years. So, friends ever since. Yeah, his quiet humility has always masked what I think is a brilliant mind, phenomenal attention to detail. His library of books, music, and videos are the ultimate. I take his collection over any libraries. It's just organized, and it's very special to him. And you knew you'd find what you wanted to find if you asked Vern, more than likely. And when you wanted something, like I wanted the Moody Blues Time Traveler series. Oh, well, you know, he had all the opinions on that too. I could not get just the ordinary Time Traveler series. I had to get the one with the bonus CD, or I was wasting my time. So that's what I went out looking for. It always had to be, you know, the Redux version. If I was going to get Apocalypse Now, I had to get the one that's the Redux version. I don't even know what Redux means. But he did. I knew I needed to get that one. His specialty was, when I came to see him, it was called Rum Vernon's. It was his own drink. He made up with rum, Kahlua, and ice cream in a blender. You never knew what hit you. So just this July, I went, before I got to Vern's, I went to the store, got the ingredients. But I made the fatal mistake of substituting Kimura coffee liqueur instead of Kahlua. Kind of an alternate brand. And I found out from Vern that I was trying to make a bastard child of his namesake, Rum Vernon. Who would have known? So, anyway, he had a great sense of humor. He didn't wear it on his sleeve, and you could get it out of him by poking him, and I poked him all the time. You know, his photography was his sacred mission in this world. He always got the best shots from the right angle and at the right settings. They always were, you know, concerts, or we went to tons of concerts. It's usually on the West Coast because that's where I was, whether it was House of Blues, LA, San Juan Capistrano. It was all over the West. He was always coming for a Moody Blues or Justin Hayward concert. And we better be ready with our photography equipment. And of course I got mine. I got the same camera Vern got because he knew what he was talking about. So, you know, we tried to put together a collage of all the things that we've taken of him over the years. And that doesn't even show up as his personal collection. Those are just ours, mine and Taryn's, what's on our site. And I can't wait to see what's at his house, because he told me that he'd spent the last, I don't know how many months, taking all of his slides and transferring them to digital media. And he said he had hundreds of boxes. It took him months to do, but he was that kind of person. He was very meticulous, very applied. So when he wasn't doing concerts, he was always coming up to California. We'd go up to Mammoth, we'd go to Devil's Postpile, Yosemite, Death Valley, and all over the place. Vern was always pushing for a little stretch more, a little further on, a little more, another place he wanted to see. And you know, it was his enthusiasm that got me going and got me to those places, and he knew what he was talking about because they were great, great places and great pictures. So in that instance, he'd always hand me his camera and want me to get in the picture of, you know, waterfall or big huge tree, or, you know, mountain ridge, or Mono Lake in the background with the Tufa Towers. So I started chiding him, poking him. I told him that he was always seeming to need himself as the principal subject in every photo. And that he maybe had a narcissistic need to be in the center of all his pictures, which is exactly the opposite of how he was. But it started a years-long argument about how his oversized head was getting in the way of all the scenery of his pictures. So he would, time to time, send me a picture of his head, nothing else, close up, and he'd call it the narcissistic view. But nothing was as problematical as keeping Vern adequately fed. No matter what venture we undertook, there was never a time longer than 2 hours before he'd start telling me he was hungry. And we had to stop soon for food. 10 minutes beyond that point, I'd get notified that his stomach was growling. And this was a warning equivalent to, "Captain, all the engines are flamed out, we're plunging towards the earth. We're about to implode." So, anyway, the extent to which he had such an amazing library is attested to the fact that every year I'd send him a Christmas gift. And my object was always to try and find something he didn't have. And that was hard. I usually had to get something brand new so that I beat him to the record store or beat him to Amazon. A few years back I got, there's a guy, a Genesis member, the band Genesis, named Steve Hackett. I went, he's probably not going to have this. This is a obscure member of, you know, a cult sort of band. And it's a live album. And of all places, it's live in Budapest. So I'm like, that's it. I'm buying it. Sent it to him. Shortly after Christmas, I called him up to see how he liked it. He told me, "I got it." Mission was failed. So later I had to replace it with something else. I had to come to Prescott to do it because I wasn't going to take any more chances sending him something. But he always sent me, you know, CDs he made. So, yeah, I must have 30. I'll miss my bud.